Blue Beetle was directed by Angel Manuel Zoto and it stars Zolo Manuenya as the title character, known as Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle. And this is our first time being introduced to Blue Beetle in the DC Extended Universe, even though I was expecting in the DCU from James Gunn. So in this movie, we're introduced to Jaime Reyes, who discovered about this alien biotech called the Scarab. Yeah, it's called the Scarab. That when he finds out about the Scarab, it actually attaches on him and it turns him into the Blue Beetle. But the thing is, Jaime Reyes doesn't want it. He didn't really want it. He didn't ask for it. But when there's a new threat coming, he has to suit up to turn himself into the Blue Beetle and try to find a way to save the world. And now we got our movie. And I gotta say, after hearing a lot of mixed reviews about the movie, some people liked it, some people didn't like it, some people didn't really like the movie, but DC fans ain't gonna hold back on this movie. But I'm not gonna hold back on this movie either. Like, maybe the audience are like, no, don't listen to the critics, form your own opinion. And I did form my own opinion. I actually love this movie. I love this movie. There's some things that I like and some things that I'm not sure if I will like. I don't know. But let's talk about some positives. The positives for this... Now, the thing is about this movie that when I saw the trailer, after I heard an announcement about the movie, I was getting really excited for this movie. Because I grew up with Blue Beetle. I grew up with the Blue Beetle characters since the cartoons, the comics, and some of the cartoons. And some of the comics, some of the action figures, even though I'm not a comic book fan. But seeing him in live action for the first time, it's so good to see this character show up in live action for the first time. And now, a lot of fans said, I thought this character was going to be in the DC... With a lot of DC fans, they thought this movie was going to take place in the DC universe. Yeah, the DC universe from James Gunn. But since James Gunn is actually taking over DC... But no, this movie, I think they had to do a little bit of a change. Maybe the studios had to do a switch up. Be like, let's have this movie take place in the DC Extended Universe. And I'm going like, why? That doesn't make any sense. But no, this movie could have came from the DCU. I'm just saying. But yeah, like I said, it could have came from the DCU. And in my opinion, what do I think of Blue Beetle? This movie is freaking cool. Blue Beetle is one of the best DC movies. I wouldn't call it the best movie, but with The Flash, now some things about The Flash, some people like it, some people didn't like it, but for me, I actually liked The Flash, but I didn't really, there were some things I did not like about The Flash, but with this movie in particular, I actually like this movie. I still like The Flash, but I love this movie a lot more. As a matter of fact, I liked both movies. Those movies were pretty cool. But with The Flash, it had horrible CGI. This movie had the best CGI. So, we'll talk about the CGI a little bit later. But with this movie, this is one of the best DC movies. I actually love this movie a lot more than the other DC movies that we had before. So, in this movie, I think this movie is a lot more improvement over the ones we had before in the past. But I guess that's it for that. Let's talk about the actors and the characters themselves. Starting off with is Zolo Manuenya as Jaime Reyes, aka the Blue Beetle. Now, like I said, he becomes when he finds out about this alien scarab. Actually, it was chosen when the scarab actually chooses him. He wants to find a way to take it off. He wants to take this thing off of him. Period. But he can't. Well, he can't because it's attached to his body. Yeah, it's actually attached to his body. But he didn't ask for it. He didn't ask for it. He didn't ask for it. He didn't want it. And he wants to find a way to take it off. In order for him to take it off, he has to go to the love interest, Jenny, trying to find a way to take this whole thing off. But instead, I think there was some problems if what happens if he takes it off. I think there were like one or two issues. I won't talk about it. You have to watch the movie yourself. But I gotta say, I like Jaime Reyes in this movie. He's really cool. Even though this is our first Latino character to become a superhero in live action form for the very first time, and that is Blue Beetle. And I really like that. I really like this guy. But I guess that's mostly it. And I do like the suit. By the way, I forgot to tell y'all that. I really love this. I really like the suit that he's wearing. But I guess that's mostly it. And Zolo Manuenya is really good as Jaime Reyes, even though I don't watch Cobra Kai. I tried, but then I couldn't really get into Cobra Kai at all. tried, but gave it my best, but I gave up. Like I said, Zola Manuena is really good as Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, and that's it for Blue Beetle. And next up is George Lopez as Uncle Rudy. Now, Uncle Rudy, from what I heard, he's really, really funny. George Lopez is really good in this movie. There were some jokes that he actually lands that actually, well, there was some jokes that actually had me laughing. Yeah, so the thing is about this character, whenever he lands a joke, he actually makes me laugh. I actually like Uncle Rudy in this movie, but I wish we spent a little bit more quality time with him, but I think we do. But there were some times we do, there were some times we don't. Most of the times we actually do, in my opinion. We do spend quality time with Uncle Rudy a little bit throughout the entire movie, but I'm sure we'll probably, I don't know if we're going to get a Blue Beetle 2, which we'll have to wait and see if... I don't know if we're going to get a Blue Beetle 2, but if we do, I think it's going to focus a little bit more on Uncle Rudy. Hopefully he'll be funny in that movie as he did in this movie. But Uncle Rudy is really funny, that's all I can say. And George Lopez is really good as Uncle Rudy. And that's all I can say for Uncle Rudy. And next up is Susan Sarandon as Victoria Cord. Now Victoria Cord is sort of like the CEO of this cord business. I think it's called the cord industry, whatever you want to call that business. But the thing is, she actually, I think she created these stirrups or something. But when her niece Jenny, her niece Jenny Cord, when she found out about that her aunt is a big of a threat and not bringing things up to no good, she's like, oh nope. And then because Victoria wants the scarab and found out that Jaime Reyes has the scarab, and she's like, well, I get it, it chose you, but the scarab belongs to me and it's mine. I chose it first, I built it or invented whatever, give it back, something like that. And she's actually a really cool villain. I mean, with her being the main villain, in my opinion, I found her more of a lesser villain, because I found Carapax more of the main villain than she was as the main villain. I mean, she is the main villain, but I found her more of a lesser main villain in this movie. I'm just wondering. But I actually like Victoria Cord in this movie as the main villain in this movie. And Susan Sarandon is really good as Victoria Cord, and that's all I can say for Victoria Cord. And last but not least is Bruna, whatever her name is, Marcusine, as Jenny Cord. Now, Jenny Cord is the niece of Victoria Cord. I guess they're both related, or they're just like a family friend type thing. I don't know. But Jenny Cord is sort of like the love interest of Jaime Reyes in this movie. When she found out she gives Jaime the scarab. She gives Jaime the scarab and didn't really know it's attaches to him. But she's like, well, with Jaime, like, well, I don't want this thing. What can we do to take it off? And she wants to find a way to take it off. But there are a couple, like, one or two problems of what happens if he takes it off. But I won't talk about it. Like I said, you guys see the movie yourself. But with Jenny Cord, she is the love interest. But after seeing the trailers, I was extremely confused if she's either the love interest or I wouldn't call her like the sister. I wouldn't call her like Jaime's sister. I was a little confused. I was like, is this the sister or the love interest? I was confused. But no, this is the love interest. I'm just saying. But yeah, she is the love interest of this movie, of Jaime Reyes. And that's all I can say. And Bruna Marcusine is really good as Jenny Cord, and that's all I can say for Jenny Cord. And that's it for the actors and the characters themselves. Excuse me. And the action sequences I want to talk about, the action in this movie is really, really good. I love most of the action set pieces here and there, but there were a couple of action scenes I like, and with the final battle, my God, the final battle is awesome. I love the final battle in this movie. Yeah, the final battle in this movie is fantastic, and that's all I can say for some action scenes. But what else about this movie? I love the family in this movie. The family, there was sometimes funny, emotional, and powerful. I love the way that the family aspects of this movie is fantastic. I love the family aspects of how they were handled with like powerful, emotional, and funny performances in this movie. There were most of them are funny, but there were sometimes they were funny. There were some parts of the movie where they were emotional and powerful. I love the way I love the way that Jaime's family turned out in this movie, and I actually like these characters. These characters were actually pretty cool. I was a little worried that the family was going to get annoying after seeing the trailers. I'm like, yeah, I think the family's going to be extremely annoying. But no, I was wrong. The family is actually really good in this movie. Now, throughout the entire movie, this movie is just about Jaime Reyes. He's trying to get rid of this scare-up. When he's trying to get rid of the scare-up, but we have like one or two problems of if he takes it off. He's when he gets fussy about it, he's like, well, I don't know why I can't take this thing off. This is just all wrong. I don't know why. But excuse me. I think, well, I won't talk about it. I won't tell you why he can't take it off. Like I said, you guys seen the movie yourself. But the thing is, the suit is actually pretty cool. I love the way that the suit turned out. I mean, I wouldn't call it comic book accurate or cartoon accurate, but I'm glad they did something different with the suit or make it like blue, even though it is like a blue and black suit that he actually puts on. But whenever he suits up, I was like, and I'm going like, well, at least it's not like vibranium technology like it was in the MCU. No, the way he suits up is actually pretty cool, which is filled with CGI. It makes the suit a lot more realistic. And I was expecting the suit to be CGI, but the eyes are actually CG. The eyes are made out of CGI, and the suit is more like a realistic suit. And also in the suit, the suit actually speaks. Well, I wouldn't say the suit actually speaks. I think there's an AI in the suit. The way it talks, the way the suit is, because of Jaime is all like, wait, I need this, I need that, and then it does, and whenever it went, with the AI, I think it's the AI in the suit. I don't know, but I just call it the AI in the suit. But the AI in the suit, just like, well, Jaime, I got this, I got that, all that's cool. And Jaime is actually trying to learn to use this suit. He's trying to actually use this suit for real. And I understand it's his first time. He's trying to start out. I understand he's trying to start out. I understand there was some times where he has to sit on, he makes mistakes, or he just doesn't even know how to fight. And I'm like, well, you have like all the stuff that the suit gave you, or the suit that, like, well, I have this, I have that, I have this thing and that thing. That suit is pretty cool, and I like the way that the suit actually speaks. I think the suit is voiced by Becky G or something. Like, the suit is actually pretty cool, and the way the way that the AI actually sounded in the suit, it doesn't. I mean, the way the AI sounded in the suit is actually pretty cool. Now, I do want to talk about the story aspects of the movie. Now, the location where the location takes place, I was so confused. I'm like, okay, I never heard this location before. I don't know if this was in the comics or in the animated cartoons. I don't know. I have not seen the Blue Beetle character in a while, since the cartoons. But the location, it looks pretty cool. I love the way that the locations turned out. I like the way that the location turned out. But for the rest of the story in this movie, there were some parts that it does feel rushed, but there was some time that takes its time with its storytelling. The storytelling in this movie is actually pretty interesting to understand, but there were some parts in the movie where I'm like, I wish there were some scenes in the movie that could have been better. It could have been better off. I mean, that was my biggest flaw with the movie. Like, some of the storytelling and some, like probably like a couple of acts of the movie. The first act got me a little confused on the nose a little bit, but the second act and the third act, I like the third act of the movie, which I really liked a lot better than the other two acts I liked from the start. But even though this is an origin story, I understand this is an origin story, but the origin story is actually pretty interesting to watch. I love the way that it was an origin story. Yeah, I did like the origin story of the movie, which is really interesting to watch and understand. But there were some parts of the origin story where I'm like, this should have been better. It should have been better. It should have been better with the origin story. There were some parts of the origin story where I'm like, where's the Blue Beetle suit? I'm waiting for it. And then we still get into it, like, probably like later on, like a little bit like the beginning and the middle, the half of the movie. But that's what I really liked about the origin story of this movie. But there were some parts, like I said, some of the parts of the origin story. I mean, I don't read the comics. I don't read the comics. I don't really read the comics. I don't really know much about the origin story. But I'll have to look up the origin story for the Blue Beetle character in the comics or the cartoons for that matter. But I guess the origin story is actually, like I said, the origin story is pretty cool. But I think that's mostly it for the Blue Beetle review. So for Blue Beetle, I gotta say, I like the movie. Like I said, there was some stuff that I liked, some stuff that I wasn't too sure that I was not gonna like. But I think Blue Beetle is a really cool movie, and I'm looking for if they're gonna do a sequel or maybe the next DCU movie. I mean, we are gonna get the DC universe movies from James Gunn after all, because James Gunn, who's the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he's taking over DC now and giving us hopefully better movies that the DC Extended Universe tried in the past since the events of Man of Steel. But I actually like this movie, but like I said, this movie is actually a pretty awesome movie. You know what this movie also reminds me of? A little bit reminds me of Spider-Man Homecoming meets Miss Marvel, but different because the way the lighter tone turned out. I think this movie has a really cool lighter tone to it. But I guess that's it for the review of Blue Beetle, and I think that's it. Nothing much else to say. Go see this movie. Form your own opinion if you like it or don't like it. But I guess that's it for the review for Blue Beetle. So be sure to like, subscribe, press notification button. Yeah, but be sure to like, subscribe, press the notification button. Follow me on Instagram and comment down below. And I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.